Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Full Force News Burst Live unboxing with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, brought to you by General Joe's REBORN.com, and today In Demand Toys, because they are the people I've got to thank to get this beauty. Yes, it is Edward Torpedo Lealoa from the G.I. Joe Classified series, and we're going to be busting into him today. I know it's early. I know there's probably not going to be loads, but it's Monday morning as well, isn't it? Like, what can I do? What can I say? This is the only time I'm going to be able to get into this bad boy this week. We've got Scrap Iron tomorrow morning as well to finish off the new Classified series. And then I'm going to be delving into a bunch of Diamond Select Toys products, which I'm very excited to kind of get into and have a look at because they look amazing. Anyway, thanks for the two people watching right now. If you are happy Monday to you, Luke, as well. If you are watching, please drop us a comment or a like or subscribe if you haven't already on the YouTube channel. Yeah, would be very grateful if you could do that, of course. But anyway, let's, I guess, get stuck into a Torpedo. I've been desperately excited to bust this bad boy out. We've already done Copperhead and Shipwreck and Rock and Roll. This will be Torpedo. This will be the fourth, and then we'll do Scrap Iron, and then hopefully I'll be able to get Bazooka at some point soon. I just noticed it was showing up in Hong Kong, so hopefully Bazooka, standard Bazooka. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Standard Bazooka will be here soon. How annoying. Anyway. Yeah, that's it then. Let's get stuck in. Let's break into this beautiful box, shall we? Okay then. Kofi Fox says he just came back from Turkey seeing Manchester City win the treble. Kofi, that hurts me deeply being a Manchester United fan. I hope that doesn't affect our relationship on here. Congratulations though. That's one hell of an achievement. And great for the city of Manchester, I guess, isn't it, of course? So, yeah, as much as it pains me to say, congratulations. And well-deserved as well. I mean, bloody hell, what a season. Anyway, we're talking Torpedo. That's what we're talking. Right. First off, let's have a look at the box. We've got that wonderful render on the front with some very cool. Oh, thank you, buddy. All love to you as well, Kofi. And with some very cool call outs in that render kind of background location image. We've also got, which we'll go through in a second. We've also got the awesome artwork by Oliver Barrett. Again, if you haven't seen my interview with Oliver, we talk about this particular piece of artwork in a bit of detail, all of his artwork that he's done on the Classified series. But we talked about this one as well, and some interesting kind of points about this particular composition and trying to get things in like a small space. So yeah, some very interesting points that came up on that. And also, if you look really closely in the artwork, you can see his eyes through the lenses. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Also, there looks to be some sort of reflection in there, like maybe it's some sort of Cobra vessel. I don't know. I should have asked him, but I didn't notice that in the first place. There's like a bit of a. Can you see in the reflection in his right kind of lens there? There's like almost like a grid pattern going on. I wonder what that could be. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, I might have to send him a message and say, "Hey, what's that reflected in his eyes?" Anyway, let's get to talking about that front piece. Now, on the render, you can see. Morning, Michael Jean Fleming. On the render, we can see that it's got those horrible tube worms. They might be nice, if you get to know them. But from the, I think the Master Vice episode when they go to get the heavy water stuff, or was it the? It was the Master Vice episode, wasn't it? And all the divers go down there. Torpedo leads the team basically as well down there, and you can see there's like 3, maybe 4. If you look behind his his harpoon there looks like to be another tube, maybe without a kind of worm coming out of it, but there are definitely 3 worms there. And I tell you what, when people say you can hear an image, that is exactly what they're talking about. That screeching squeal noise that they make from that episode will live with me forever. And I've got a feeling as well it was reused from something previously, because I recognized the sound almost immediately when I first heard it. And I'm not sure, yeah, if you go and watch the Mass Device, you'll know what I mean when these things come out. But it's like, it's really horrible, kind of screechy, wailing sound. And he's on a submarine as well, which is pretty dope. Now, I'm guessing it's a Joe submarine of some description. It could be a Cobra one, but look, if it was the Cobra one, excuse me, it would have that big snake head on it, wouldn't it? So maybe this is just a Joe submarine that he's on, and he's got out to, or maybe he's got out the water to get on the submarine because the tube worms have just appeared and he wants to get out of Dodge because he's not going to be able to do anything against those creatures. Also, you got like antenna on the top of the submarine. They're just making sure that it wasn't a tube. And any other markings, you can see kind of like yellow, kind of all like gold, like mustardy kind of deco on the deck there of the submarine. And you got the wonderful figure render, which is awesome. And then, of course, the loadout that he comes with as well. So he's got the submachine, like the H&K MP5 looking submachine gun. Excuse me. He's got the harpoon, which looks awesomely detailed with the bit of like excess rope on there too. The knife, the scuba tank and headgear, which I will find out if it's all connected, and those really cool modern flippers. And then, of course, on this side, we have the Hello Grant. Happy Monday to you as well, sir. And we have the QR code that leads nowhere currently. And I am checking that on a daily basis just in case, because I want to know what these attributes mean again. Let's have a look at these ones. What have we got? We've got Neptune. We've got 3 things. We've got maybe demolitions. That must be underwater demolitions, maybe. And then that one is another trident. So he likes his tridents. I will definitely have to figure out what they are for sure. Now, on the back, we get to see the figure and his loadout again, but then also some nice little kind of like detailed close-ups on the, like, I'm guessing like the secondary, the clasps on there. They wanted to show those off and the little kind of detail on that. And then here, that awesome kind of like display on his wrist, like a communicator that's also depth, kind of an information, basically like a radar of some description, which is pretty awesome, isn't it? Looks like some sort of depth reader, doesn't it? Like obviously would help very, very well with Torpedo. And of course, you've got the top there, G.I. Joe Classified Series, and the bottom with all the legal Gumpf plastic-free packaging, except tape and glue. And what else was I going to point out on this? His name, obviously, Torpedo, clearly some sort of issue there. So Edward Torpedo layer lower, they've put his full file name on blast. And there we have it. So let's break into this beauty. Like I said, if you're watching, chuck us a comment or any questions. I mean, lots of stuff has gone up in the last couple of days. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the posts I've made recently for, if you have, I'm not going to do any spoilers today, but obviously on this show, but if you have seen Rise of the Beasts, I've done kind of like a little breakdown of the very interesting end scene that might have something to do or not have something to do with the show. So yeah, if you have seen it, go and check it out. It's a fun little breakdown of everything. Now, first off, we have the upside down weapons crate, which I'm not going to let go of. That seems really weird to me. So if that's the top, cool, brilliant, yeah, awesome, yeah. Why is there a handle on the bottom? So if that is the handle, I don't know. But anyway, confuses me, but that's where we are. So let's open this up and get at all of the accessories. This is a much legal Gumpf. This is a much kind of more in like crazy heavy bag of accessories going on here. Grant says, say, Chris, I'm hoping those listings for a Nightfall, Shockwave, and Amazon exclusive nunchuck are real. What are your thoughts? We've actually, I've done an episode kind of breaking down those listings. We were able to confirm a few things, clean up a few other things. In terms of Nightfall, Shockwave, we can't confirm nor deny that one because that is a new one to us, Nightfall, Shockwave. And also, I'm not saying it's not going to happen because it's highly possible. There is a Night Force theme now. and Shockwave would make a lot of sense too. So usually there is, I mean, you know, you've got the smoke. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And with these things, I would suggest that usually they're either right or they're close or they're nearby. So I would say that Nightfall Shockwave is a very high possibility, Grant. In terms of Nunchuck, yeah, that's another. It's an oddball choice, but the way that the team have been doing things and all that kind of stuff, it's right up there. Now we are aware of a standard nunchuck. I think the listings have said Arctic nunchuck, which would be amazing. We don't know that particular detail, if that is the case. But we are aware at the moment that it's just it's nunchuck that's coming out. But I tell you what, I'd take any kind of nunchuck because that's going to be phenomenal. Now, the baggie. Like I said in the past, I'm not as precious as I once was. I just open these like a bag of crisps or chips now. And that's how I rock and roll with it. Let's have a look at all of his goodies. I nearly left a goodie in there. There's so many goodies in there. It was the little magazine stayed in there. Right. Wow. Okay. So it looks like we have got separate things for stuff. I'm not sure if you heard the honk in there, but there was a honk. Thank you, Grant, for the comment, buddy. We will, like I said, we'll find out soon, won't we? Let's face it. This is Yojo June. We'll find out soon. I'm just doing my Roadblock impression. Now, what have we got here? Let's look. Okay, so we've got the backpack first and foremost, which looks like a figure hugging sort of shape there, like a grey squidgy bit. And then it's got like the kind of this section on the back, almost like a I don't know, it's like a nondescript quite type tank thing, isn't it? Not much detail on that. I'm quite surprised. I thought they'd be doing all sorts of stuff, but maybe they've looked at reference, and reference kind of is more, you know, I don't know, like that. And then there's a little clip on the bottom to, I guess, hold the harpoon gun. We'll find out. And then you've got those little ports on the side, which fix this awesome piece of kit. So we've also got the kind of like breathing apparatus pipes situation, and obviously these little ports port into the holes, or the pegs port into the holes, and then you've got the little detail on the front. You've got the kind of goggles, and you've got the red detail on the kind of the ports where the pipes come out of, and that kind of little grey mouth breather kind of thing at the front there. So there's a lot of nice little detail on that piece. Again, like runs all the way down, like the lines on the straps for the headgear thing. That's cool. So we'll be putting that all together obviously in a second once I get through all of this. Finishing off his underwater sort of specific gear, we have got his flippers. We've got and they've got right and left inside, even though they are quite clearly right and left shaped. But you've got that lovely red kind of like fin sort of detailing on there as well. There's awesome detailing on the little like shoe section, the kind of foot part. Then you flip them around and they're just all black on the bottom, but again with more detail on there. And the back parts, obviously you've got little foot peg holes, so you can still put him on his stand while he's wearing them, and almost like two little kind of, you know, like bits that stick out at the back, and that kind of heel hugger that leaves a little gap but allows the heel to kind of lock into that. So that's pretty neat. All right, cool. So that's his kind of like underwater diving gear. We then have a lot of wibbly. I tell you what, there's a lot of wibbling going on here with some of these weapons. They are not using a very hard durometer. As you can see, there's a bit of a curve there to the MP5, and I think it's not an MP5, I don't think, but it's got that kind of shape and that kind of style. I don't think it is. And it's got the magazine there as well, which pops in nicely and stays. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Cool little submachine gun for him. The people that know what it is can probably tell me in the comments, but yeah, it's not an MP5, is it at all? I just, from the image on the front, I think I just saw the silhouette and it was close enough. Grant has also asked, say Chris, what are some things you'd like to see in the Image Skybound universe on the Joe side of things? Special missions is what I'm going to say, just like one and done, or maybe two-parters where you get like specialists doing the job specifically for that kind of scenario. So, you know, Special Missions was always my favorite comic growing up in the Real American Hero universe anyway, or when I found out about the Real American Hero universe. Special Missions was a favorite, and then when they started to kind of experiment with that in the future, like, you know, later on in IDW, and I think they did some sort of Special Missions in Devil's Due possibly as well. But there's been a few Special Missions kind of attempts, and I kind of like those as well. That one, I think it's Devil's Due actually, with Beachhead, Tunnel Rat, Neurotoxin. They go to New York. It's good. It's Special Missions Manhattan. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed that. Low Light's in it as well. It was one of those things at the beginning of the issue. They say all of our like main operatives are off doing something else. Let's get the B team in, and it's a B team that is absolutely solid as heck. But anyway, that's what I'd like to see, Grant. I'd love to see them attempt Special Missions again. I really want to see that sort of storytelling from G.I. Joe. The long form stuff is great, but it's just not my cup of tea sometimes. And sometimes with the long form stuff, you can see they're writing for trades, which again makes sense. But if you did like a mini series of Special Missions, there's a trade right there. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, you know, an ongoing arc necessarily. But if when they do the arcs, you can sometimes see they're forcing it into that format. And with that, you get like issues that aren't necessary. Storytelling that just doesn't need to be there. Anyway, that's that side note. Let's continue with looking at the accessories. Another wibbly well, that's actually a bit straighter. Actually, you can see it's a bit straighter, but it has got a bit of a curvature going on that way round. But this is the harpoon. I genuinely do wish this was a little like harder durometer. This and the rifle, they're making them a little bit too wibbly. And when you put them even when you put them without, like, you know, support or whatever that's forcing them into a certain shape, they're still getting a little bit wavy. But there it is, a lot of kind of cool detail on it. You've got the kind of like the rope loop on the back there. You've got the kind of excess kind of rope for the harpoon, so that when it shoots off, you know, you're gonna still be able to kind of retrieve whatever's on the end of it, and you can kind of see that kind of wrapped around the front there as well. That's pretty cool. And then you've got the kind of handle and the trigger guard as well, which is kind of a nice touch. And of course, the little kind of chrome end, which is neat. So yeah, my only thing there is that I wish these were stronger durometer, so they didn't curve and wave. Let me get out of the way so you can see the curve there. See that kind of curve in a little bit? And I'm sure you can kind of flex it into place, but you know, come on. Good morning, Chris. Think the brand team has anything planned for today? I imagine so. I could see us hitting 13K today, or maybe tomorrow. So there might be like a reveal of what the next tier is to kind of like incentivize us. Wouldn't surprise me. Definitely something this week though. Wednesday will be the major one, I think, won't it? But you never know. They could do some pre-reveal type digital renders and stuff like that. I could keep an eye on the socials. Is all I would say. Angela says, I can't wait to get him. You're talking about Torpedo, I imagine, Angela. Thank you very much. And good morning to yourself. Flaffle57 says, you think they're making the guns softer so there is less stress on figures' hands? Could possibly be. That could possibly be a thing that they're doing, Flaffle. I will say that, you know, just by making the hands the way they are with the stronger durometer of the weapons, I don't think there's an issue. Genuinely. So as long as the hand is soft, this won't matter. But in my opinion, but that could be way off. But yeah, maybe it's just how they're having to do it. Maybe it's just the situation, and maybe it's a cheaper scenario. It's a shame really, because I do like when I prefer it when the durometer of the plastic is a little harder, a little stronger. But you know, that's a personal pref. We also have, as well, this little knife, little red handle, and kind of like a tactical underwater knife with a little kind of like fishy gutty type scenario going on there. But anyway, very cool. Very, very cool. Angela says, I want a special missions for barbecue, blowtorch, and airtight. That would be very cool. I'd be well into that. Like, yeah, some sort of like nuclear reactor meltdown or something that they have to go in and sort out. And it's more turns into kind of like a rescue mission would be fun, wouldn't it? Yeah, barbecue and blowtorch are kind of like, even though blowtorch is a flamethrower trooper, they could be utilized as a fire service almost. And they could maybe throw in some other kind of characters in there as well. But airtight would be great for the hostile environment. You can have eco warriors in that as well. It'd be wicked. I'd be well into that, definitely. And it could be something like Cobra. The cesspool and the team have left an installation in poor kind of health, and the Joes have got to go in and clean it up. But there are still like toxo vipers and toxo zombies and all sorts. That would be really cool, actually, wouldn't it? The more I think about it and talk about it, the more I want it. Anyway, that's all the accessories. So let's get into Torpedo. Here we go. I've been waiting for this one. Do you think Sleepy Torpedo or Awake Torpedo? I think Sleepy. He's awake. He is alert, alive, and enthusiastic in that package there. There he is in all of his glory. The only reason I say that is because Rock and Roll, when I opened him, was like proper sleep, like his head was way over there. But he is rocking, raring to go, isn't he? Absolutely beautiful. We've got the black and white art from Oliver Barrett in the background there. Torpedo, it's a really good head sculpt. I love that. That's really cool. Again, the cool secondary, which we'll have a look at. And as you go through, he's got a wetsuit on. It looks awesome. Let's unravel him and actually get him out. Talk about the figure and then start gearing him up. You know the process. The process of these things, guys. Torpedo has the worst nickname of any of the Joes. Yes, he does. I won't repeat it on here, but it is one of the funnier things in that mini-series. Let's have a look at that black and white artwork as well from Oliver Barrett. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see a little bit kind of more of the leg in the background there, how it's kind of like squeeze a little bit more of the figure into the space. It's really, really awesome. Very dynamic as well on such a small area. Okay. Out of the box, he feels great. I will say the secondary is tight to him, which is good. It's not like some of the other secondaries are very loose, which isn't a problem. It like works for the figure, and it works on this figure that the secondary is quite form-fitting, and it's kind of like, again, very nicely detailed. On the back, it's just all grey, but it kind of goes over the backpack peg hole very cleanly. The head sculpt is wicked. Absolutely awesome. Look at that. I really like this. He's not, emoting in a crazy way, but it's just such a nice head sculpt. And like, you can see how his skin is like almost reacting to the wetsuit around it. There's a really nice, effect going on there. I love it a lot. That is a cool head sculpt and a very cool like wetsuit kind of detailing there, like the kind of the seams, and you get his ears underneath there as well, kind of pushing out. Really, really nice. And obviously it's that's the cool little thing I wanted to look at on his wrist. But you've got the kind of black wetsuit arms there, and then if you go and have a look on the wrist, you've got that awesome wrist kind of depth reader or like little radar, which is really awesome. And then obviously the hands are nice. Just got that kind of simple kind of detail on them. You can see like little seams and stuff around like the legs and the groin there. You got the kind of, this isn't a secondary, that is a molded belt. So that is just like on the waist piece with, again, like that little black splash of kind of dark red on the front and the pouches on the back. There's his butt. Check his butt out. Kind of looks like a X-Force Deadpool from behind, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. I should have included some product shots, Flaffle, shouldn't I? I see what you're saying. I will get to that comment in a second. Kid Collector Lot says, keen for some Cobra eels up inside. Yeah, finding an entrance where they can. Eels, after seeing this figure. Yeah, I don't think we'll be waiting very long for eels, honestly, Kid Collector Lot. Mark my words, we won't be waiting long. Can we get a coffee table book with classified artwork and file cards and include some product shots? Yes, Flaffle, that would be phenomenal. Now, for the artist series was something that they were actually developing at Hasbro. I'm not sure what's happened to that, but they were going to be doing a book to kind of like bring all of the artwork together. Maybe that's still happening, but I haven't heard any hide nor hair of it since it was kind of like a thing that was mentioned some time ago. I would love it. I'd love to see the classified artwork, the product shots, all of that stuff in one coffee table book. I think it would be gorgeous, and I think it would do really well in terms of sales. Now, some interesting points to mention about the articulation, especially on the legs. So usual articulation, what's nice is these secondaries cover up the seams for that articulation. So he's got the, I believe that's the knife sheath on that side. We'll put that in there in a second. And he's got this other kind of like generic kind of pouch secondary on that side. But again, it covers the seams on the hip twists, which is really cool. Obviously, we've got the knee articulation, but then as you get on the legs, the kind of shin split is much lower. So it's there. Look, can you see where the design of the kind of the wetsuit kind of like cuts? So that's really nice again. And you've got the shoes, which have a little bit of detail on, but let me see if I can do that. Yeah, there you go. And you can kind of see the lines and the detail on those particular shoes as well, which is kind of cool. And the bottoms are just as you'd expect. Now, what does it say on here? 2023 Hasbro SA made in China and F7467 C3252A 30601. Lots of numbers. That's for Pat to work out, and I will be asking him about those as well. Also, the secondary covers up the what's it called? The butterfly joints on the kind of shoulder and chest kind of area, which is really nice. So he's kind of like he's got his gear is tactically hiding a lot of those kind of cuts. Sonar wristwatch. Thank you, Figure Six Pack. It's sonar. Thank you. That was the word I was trying to grab and just couldn't think of it. Will they make a 3-pack of divers? One would wonder. That would be cool. That would be cool. On a completely different side note, I was so happy to hear Corey landed a job with the Skeletron team. He'll be such a great asset for them. Yes, brilliant stuff to know that Corey is doing, lots more work in the toy industry world, definitely. Yeah, awesome. Luke says, looks like you've never seen the images showing all the symbols that are on the boxes. I just sent them to you on Messenger. I think lots of people have never seen them too. Maybe you can share to all. I have seen them, Luke. I just have never studied exact. I mean, I've looked at what they all are, but not having a way to kind of like go back to the website and check them out. That was where I was having my issue. But if you sent me an image of all of the explanations and everything from the website before it went down, brilliant. Thanks. That will actually help a lot. So I appreciate that. Let's see what that looks like. I guess you've sent it to the Full Force page. Yes, you have. Brilliant. Okay, so we can work out what he actually has on here. Thank you very much, Luke. I appreciate this. Like I said, I have seen them and I have studied them to a degree online, but I have just, for so long since the website went down, haven't been able to double check them. Environmental Specialist Water is the first one. So I'll get a close up on that. The Environmental Specialist Water, and that is like a high level. That's like a level 4 based on the other image, I think. Yeah, that is definitely a level 4. Definitely. So he's a level 4 underwater specialist, obviously. The next one is that kind of like 3, almost like arrows going in different directions. That would be not on that side. Oh God, there's the Mastery one, isn't there? Which is like huge. Maybe it's on Mastery. And that is, I can't see that one anywhere. Maybe they're adding to these as well when the website comes back. Or maybe I'm just, oh, there it is. It's arrow weapons, obviously. So harpoon arrow weapons. And he's at like a level, was that a level 3 on that one? Let's double check. No, that's a level 2. He's only a level 2 with his harpoon. That's funny, isn't it? Underwater, that must be underwater demolitions, I'm guessing, and that would be a level 1. So he's not like super high on that. But that is, I'm pretty sure that's demolitions. Explosives, yeah. So he's level 1 explosives, and this one, I believe, is different to that one. So it's another trident. Maybe it's in mastery, that trident. And that is... So the first one is environmental specialist, and that one is hard to find. I'm going to find it though, guys. Someone's probably already told me in the comments, and I've just not been paying attention, and everyone's really frustrated with me, and that's fine. I'll come back to that one if I can like find it. But yeah, so that last one is a level 3, but I don't know what. Maybe it's the same thing, more or less. Kind of like an underwater thing, but I can't see. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to go and say it's the underwater environment, or the water environmental thing again, but it looks like there's a slightly different one with the trident, and I can't seem to find it on the images that you sent me. I'm sure it's on there, and I'm sure I'm just being an idiot. We'll just say that's what it is. Environmental underwater specialist, and he's level 3 at that, which is odd. Oh no, there, I found it. Underwater combat. And someone has told me what it is. Loads of people have told me what it is as I was talking about it. So thank you, guys. Supersonic Fighters Kimberlin, DGD Hype Productions, and Supersonic Fighters Kimberlin. So yeah, Underwater Environment 4, but Water Combat 3. Anyway, that's what that means. Thank you, Luke, for sending those images. I'm glad, actually, because like I said, not having the website there anymore to cross-reference this stuff has become a bit of a pain. So that's great. Thank you very much. Right, let's plug in. So I'm coming back to Torpedo now, who's the actual, the real hero, the real American hero of this set. So plugged the old ports into the side very easily, very comfortably, and they stay in nicely. Got like proper airtight vibes going on here at the moment. The vintage one. It goes over the head nice and comfortably, sits there as well very comfortably, and obviously you can still articulate and move with those pipes in the way, so that's really cool. So you get lots of awesome poses, and it's not like it's not like moving around or like staying. There's a really good balance of like movement and stuff there, which is great. So he looks so cool with the gear on like that. Let's pop his old little shoesies on, shall we? So I'm guessing it's just a push in. Yeah. It's just, how you put a shoe on, McLeod. It's not difficult, is it? Okay, so we've got this scenario going on. So you push the toe in first all the way, and then the back just kind of flops over the back, and it's nice and secure and nice and tight. They're not going anywhere. Very, very awesome. And here we go in his like floating through the water kind of posing. This figure is gorgeous, by the way. I have no issues right now with this beauty. This is very next level, in my opinion. Let's pop the old harpoon on the bottom of his, I guess, backpack thing. Or maybe it doesn't go on there. I don't know. I'm just going to put it like that. That seems to kind of like hold it. If there's like a little knot, not a notch, but like there's a little detail there. So that kind of like raised detail in the middle there. Use that because that really pinches it in. Otherwise, it just kind of falls out. And it is halfway along, so it kind of makes sense that that's where it goes. And it's on there. It's not going anywhere. Look, Faceless Master. It's not going anywhere. So that's cool. Maybe the rifle goes in there, and yeah, it does. That fits a lot cleaner, so maybe it is for the rifle, but I don't know. That is, it kind of has the same shape as the top of the rifle. Like the kind of like, you see that kind of like triangular shape going on. So yeah, maybe, I mean, it's probably for both, but at the same time, the rifle does slot in there quite nicely. The only thing I would say is that it's not like, I mean, it's there. Is that coming out? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, we're good. It stays in. That's fine. That's enough for me. Now we've got the knife, which I'm going to pop in. That ain't a knife. It is a knife, and that just goes in the side there. And he is literally not yet. Actually, he's not all geared up because I've got to put his level 2 harpoon gun in. Let's have a look. Get in there, son. Okay. Obviously, it makes it a little bit difficult with the whole hand guard on there. You know, like you've got the trigger guard, but then you've also got the kind of rest of the finger guard as well, kind of in front of it. There we go. But it goes in, and he's got his harpoon. I just knocked the gun out. You see, this is going to be a problem, I think, with the gun going there, because I don't think it is like necessary. Oh, I see. You push it in and it kind of locks into that top bit. So that's why I think I was going wrong. You push it up and it kind of locks in a little bit. So that's nice. Anyway, look at all that. This is so good. And yeah, the mask does kind of fit under his chin nicely as well. I didn't notice that before. This is glorious. I have no issues other than the durometer of the weapons. That was it, I think, wasn't it? My only concern is with the durometer of the weapons. And that is the kind of like the hardness of the plastic, basically. He looks phenomenal. He's got some great accessories. I love his little flippers, his big flippers, actually. I love all the gear he comes with. Oh, phenomenal. Lovely stuff. Look at that. Look at him floating around, being torpedo and awesome. And if you take you can take the mask off and just kind of like sit it back there, and you can have it, you know, just hanging and banging. In actual fact, I wonder if you can just fold it round all the way and have it like on the backpack as like a thing, you know, as like where it's housed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it under the rifle so it holds it all together like so. So it's kind of hooked around the magazine, so it's holding it all in there. But that's really cool, isn't it? Like, it's nice that not only has he got all this gear, but it kind of like, do you know what would have been like the absolute ultimate for this figure is if his flippers connected to the backpack as well. That would have been perfection in my eyes. But this is a very, very awesome figure. I am very excited to have Torpedo finally. Torpedo isn't even like one of my favorite kind of characters or vintage figures or anything like that. I didn't have it as a kid. But I think when I first saw this as a classified figure on the product images, mainly because of the product images, it was just, I think I just fell in love with him. Like, it was just like, wow, this thing is next level. So yeah, I would have to say, my head hurts. Sorry, the headphones have been on for ages and it hurts my head. I have to say this is an exceptional classified edition. And I think it will only lead to more sort of underwater based figures. I think like I said, I think Eels is probably not far behind. I think Wetsuit can't be that far behind either. I think he's a very, you know, well-known character, and I think they're going to try and get him involved. I'm missing some comments here. Sorry. What we saying? Matt says, the fact that it took you that long just means that the symbols are not well designed. It's not that, Matt. It's that the image I was looking at was very tiny. That's all it was. I think they could have done something better. I like one language file card that listed the attributes. Well, no, I get what you're saying on that one, Matt, but the things are fine. It's, you know, it's the case of like digging them out on a very small image. And I am old, don't forget. I'm very old. I'm hopeful for orange repaints with Duke and others as divers. That's a good shout, actually, Jeremy. Very good shout. I could definitely see this being utilized as the kind of generic G.I. Joe orange diver body. That rifle is an awesome sculpt. It is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. It's got a lot of detail on it. And by the way, it fits in there very snug and nicely now. Like what I was doing before, I was pushing it into the first section of triangular space. There's another little notch above, and you push it into that, and it kind of almost clicks in there. I felt like a nice little kind of feeling of it kind of like clicking in there. It wasn't like, you know, proper. I don't think it's that. It might be hooked on something, which is great, like a little like detail on the rifle, but it definitely is in there. And I've bumped it a few times and it hasn't gone anywhere, so that's cool. I feel like it has to be like there's a balance to those. Like if it's wedged in there and you can hardly take it out, I'm usually okay with that, because if it's like, you know, the first gung ho backpack was cool and the rifles were fun, but my god, they do not stay in that backpack. And because the backpack durometer is quite flexible, those clips that the guns lock into or don't lock into, as the case may be, flex out, and you end up like, you know, if they're in too long, they're, you know, they've pushed a bit more space out of them. So there is a definite like balance to this. And the durometer, I would say, I keep using that word, but the hardness of the plastic on the backpack is definitely way more solid, and I don't see that happening with that particular thing there. But anyway, it's nice that you can hold his rifle as well, and also the fact that the harpoon can sit in there too is a nice touch. Also, he's got a loop on the harpoon, so he doesn't have to hold it. He can loop that around his wrist, or maybe around his shoulder, or maybe even around, you know, you could probably do it something like this. Here's a little technique that I picked up in NARM. I didn't, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to remove one of the ports. I'm going to put the loop over the hole, and I'm going to put that back in just to see what that does. And yeah, it holds the harpoon in a nice kind of like hanging fashion down the side and the back out of the way. So you can technically, if you've got a little bit of ingenuity about you, like myself, you can do something like that. And obviously you can use the loop, and I think it does probably reach all the way around his shoulder. I should try that probably. But I don't know, it just feels nice and kind of like out of the way, and also kind of secure right there. And obviously like with the rifle as well. And I like that because now you can kind of like, you can come out of the water with the rifle, and the harpoon gun is like dealt with, you know. Very awesome. I love this figure. I love how, like I said, you know, it's maybe not be designed to do that, but I love the fact that you can mess about with that too. The flippers do have peg holes, Nictimus Prime, so you can definitely plug him into a stand, no issues with the flippers on as well. So awesome. Although with this one, I'd be more inclined, if he's got the flippers, to have him on like one of those, you know, those kind of like see-through kind of like clamp around the waist type stands that you see like NECA selling and stuff like that, because you'd want him like kind of like that, wouldn't you? Anyway, stunning. I love this figure so much. What else are you guys saying in the comments? Morning Philly Jones, mask is great, almost clips into place around the chin, it fits so well, sits on top of his head well for casual Fridays. He's an absolute cracker, says Gaz. Yes, I agree with all of that, mate. He is an absolute cracker. I have no issues with this figure, like other than that one bit of like the soft weapons, and that's it. Like this is phenomenal. What does cheese bags mean anyway? It was like a silly meme that went around for a while where this guy had tweeted. It was hilarious. I can't remember who it was. I apologize in advance, but it was a viral tweet anyway, so it's not like he's not known. But he wrote on the thing. It was like an image of Stay Fresh cheese bags. It was a product, like an actual product, and that was the name of the product that he took a picture of in a grocery store. And he said, "This is my new thing that I say when I leave a room to people, like Stay Fresh cheese bags." So I just thought it was hilarious. It was quite old as well. It's been out for years, but I just said it stupidly randomly at the end of one of the episodes, and it kind of stuck around. So I've just been saying Stay Fresh to all of our cheese bags, and that's what the story is basically. He looks awesome in a flight stand, like swimming underwater. That's exactly what I would use him with falafel. Yes. Or on his belt, says Kimberlin, but the belt isn't loose. So where do you hook it on the belt? Let me know, please, in the comments, because it's a molded belt with nothing on it. Like I can't see anything on the belt that would be able to hold that. Anyway, if that's what you're talking about. Anyway, Matt says, Chris, I thought Corey said they designed Torpedo to hold everything, including the flippers. I can't see where they would be. Oh no, really? Is that what that's for? I'm going to try something. And let's see if this is something that is a thing that can actually work. Probably not. It's the same thing I did with the other thing. But because no, I don't think it's going to fit because there's because of the shape of the backpack. I was going to put the things around the back there, but no, I can't see where the flippers would attach. They might do though, and I might just be being an idiot. But I can't see where they would attach, nor can I see on any of here. There's no image on here. I can't see anything on the product images where that would be the case either. So maybe things changed, but and you'll have to go back and watch that specific what's it called? The specific live stream to see what he actually said there. Maybe go back and have a look, and we'll see. Deep 6 is who I'm waiting for, says Flaffle. Sorry, no. Todd Bratrude says he's who he's waiting for, and Flaffle says Deep 6. Everyone's saying Deep 6 as far as water guys. Yeah, I'd love a Deep 6, definitely. I really want Deep 6 and Wetsuit, genuinely. I think Wetsuit would be amazing. Oh, right. Philly's saying Bazooka is up on Robot Kingdom. Yes, I noticed as well Hobby Base have Bazooka. They posted that a couple of hours ago. So, yeah, Bazooka should be turning up pretty soon. I did try doing the flippers with the backpack thing. I didn't. The problem is with that, Gaz, can you see the shape of where the pipe goes in? There's that grey bit that sticks out. And because of that, you can't get the flippers flush to there. And I don't think the foot peg hole is big enough for the whole pipe to go through because of that that kind of lip that it's got. Yeah, because it kind of only goes like so far because that lip on the pipe stops it. I genuinely thought that might have been how you did it. But if it is the case, that would be phenomenal. But I don't think you can. No, I don't think it's possible. That said, maybe he just meant, he can have all of his gear on him, not necessarily on the backpack. Do you know what I mean? Because he has technically got his gear on him when they're on his feet. So he can have all of his gear on his person, just not on his backpack. Duke took the film in my camera, but not in my earrings. Who is going to get Void Rivals? I definitely will be picking that up to see what it all means. That's on Wednesday. He should have come with a treasure chest that blows bubbles. That would have been adorable. I can't see how anything would go on the belt, Jeremy, and the flippers either. There's just nothing on there that it would connect to that I can see. That doesn't mean it's not the case. I will do some more research and maybe get back to everyone on that one. Yes, I saw that Torpedo no longer carries the heavy oxygen tanks, but is replaced with a slimmer tank that looks to have an oxygen bladder for the backpack. Hasbro kept it modernized, big time. And yeah, that's what that grey thing is, isn't it? That's the oxygen bladder with a more streamlined kind of like tank. What I would say about that is that just any detail on that would be cool. Anything, even if it's not the thing that you usually do with the modern stuff. If it is like the modern reference is clear, this is G.I. Joe, stick a logo on it or something. I think that would be worth it. I don't think there should be any real clear flat surfaces on anything with this stuff, genuinely. Yeah, there is a sale today, Jeffrey. Yeah, it's the I forget what it's called now, but yeah, there is a sale today for that. So I just have to do a little bit of what's the word? Multitasking. Bear with me for a second. I will hold Torpedo up in the air because I've got to the end of the the comments anyway. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. I just want to double check something. Yeah, Power Days sale is what it is. Thank you, Flaffle, as well, as I finally worked that out. The Power Days sale is going on. I don't know what G.I. Joe stuff it has attached to it, but go nuts, have a look, see what's going on. It's not up yet, 9 a.m. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm early, aren't I? Well, it is 9:11 right now. Is it 9 at a different area? Is it like PST or something? Flaffle, where are you located? Because it is past 9 a.m. here. Probably a bit later. I'd look at the email, but I've had to get rid of everything on my screen. So I'll do that in the background while we talk about Torpedo. Yeah, anyway, so what is interesting, like I said earlier, is I didn't have any kind of connection as a kid to this figure. I thought it was cool and I wanted him, but obviously never had him. Saw him on the cartoon in certain episodes. He was prominent in the. I tell you one, he was really prominent in. I say prominent, or where my brain goes is the issue. Now, I know it as the annual, the first Action Force annual, where it's about the tactical battle platform implementation. It's the whole Cobra Island kind of like origin story. And I remember Torpedo in that vividly because he goes down to make sure that the kind of like the oil rig style legs are connected. And so in that, if you're familiar with the comic, the A Real American Hero comic, it was reprinted, or that kind of couple of issues were reprinted in the Action Force annual from like 1987 or 88, and that is that's where I kind of like really kind of like thought, oh, Torpedo's kind of interesting and cool. Knew nothing about the actual character or anything until I the internet really. So it was really cool to kind of get a bit more information about him. So I've always liked the figure and always wanted it, and we did have it, I believe, in 85. I think we had it in 85 on like Palatoy card. So it's not like he is, he's not a stranger to the UK. It's just, to me, he was, because I was into it well in like 87 was when I was really, really into it and onwards. But anyway, when I saw the images, product images for this particular figure, blown away. And that's what made me fall in love with this particular one as a classified figure. And I have genuinely not been disappointed. This is a phenomenal figure. Like there are some really cool attributes to it, like the secondaries, which are kind of like very form-fitting, very figure-hugging, but also cover loads of different articulation points. The butterfly joints are hidden up here, but they don't hinder articulation. The kind of hip flex, the hip twist seam is covered by the two secondaries on the thighs. He's got loads of cool detailing on him. He's got loads of wicked accessories, which can all kind of like find, some sort of transportation on his backpack. Just very, very into this figure. The head sculpt's dope. Like you take the mask off and he's got this really kind of interesting, awesome head sculpt. And of course the face mask as well. I think, along with Big Ben, there might be some very cool Eagle customs we can get out of those figures. But yeah, just superb. Love it. And I think that's pretty much it for Torpedo. I won't be going just yet. We can have, any kind of questions we can chat about, but we are going to switch ever so slightly so I can put my name on the screen. For vanity. So Eastern, Flaffle says. And that's, the sale is live in the UK. It must be live now. So the sale is going on Hasbro Pulse. Go check it out. There might be some Joe stuff on there. I don't know. He needs one of those stands they gave the NBA figures to display better. Yeah, big time, Jeffrey. You can get, there's a really cool, NECA do a decent one. NECA do a decent kind of like, figure stand that kind of crimps at the waist and holds figures up. I think I have a couple. I think I have one of those. I think I bought like a set once, or like what they come in like, I think it's like a set. I don't think I've ever opened it though. Steve says, "Hi Chris, hope all's well, mate. A lovely figure in my opinion, big time. This is one of my favorites so far. This is my favorite from the wave that I've looked into so far, and we've had Rock and Roll, Copperhead, and Shipwreck, all of which have been solid, really enjoyable figures. But Torpedo is one I was really waiting for. I almost did this one last, but I think Scrap Iron is going to be a nice, like, one to finish it off, and we'll be doing that tomorrow morning. So that's awesome. Definitely troop building him, says Philly. Yeah. Matt says, Torpedo does look great. Now I have to figure out whether I want to display him unmasked with flippers off or with everything on in a swimming pose. I think swimming pose, honestly, Matt, with all his gear, maybe holding the harpoon, rifle, the machine gun kind of like on his backpack. That's how I'm going to be doing it. He is swimming, baby. This one's swimming. Still no sale happening. Okay, cool. Maybe it's a bit later in the day then. Maybe it's one of those things. Sometimes they have issues, don't they? Technical issues, and it just takes a while to actually happen. But people are saying nothing as yet is kicking off. A water bunker, Luke, would be cool. Yeah, that would be awesome. Torpedo wins all new. Definitely, there's a lot of good stuff going on here. Definitely. Yeah, the guys might be broke from Joe Fest. Probably can't afford Hasbro Pulse today. That's genuinely probably a very true statement. Yeah, Matt, Chris, can you tell Emma Lennelly that we need some clear flight stands for Serpentor's Air Chariot and Trouble Bubbles? I will most definitely ask them if that is something they've considered, because yeah, that I want to see those Trouble Bubbles and Serpentor's Air Chariot flying, definitely. Cool. G.I. Joe line rules, says Billionaire. I like that. It's a cool name. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I'm really, really excited and happy to finally have Torpedo unboxed. He is going to be getting some awesome display when I get home, aka on my desk with all the other figures that are clotting up the space I have. Anyway, brilliant stuff. Awesome stuff. Thank you guys for joining me for this unboxing of Edward Torpedo Layer Lower. I think that's how you say it. There you go. Had a massive lot of fun with you guys again this morning. I know it's early. I apologize. For those watching after the fact, thank you. And I hope you enjoy my unboxing of this bad boy. Martin says, since the flippers have holes, you can put the air hose into them, hold the flippers on the backpack. I tried that. If you've done that, great. But I can't get it so the flipper is close enough to the hole so that it can peg in, because the lip is on the hose is too wide to go through the hole, and also the peg isn't long enough necessarily to reach. But I will mess around with it and see if that works, Martin, and I'll put a picture up. I'll put a picture up after the fact on socials if I can get it to work. But I will try that definitely. Sorry, what character would boost Dragonfly? I was trying to work out what that said, Jer, but yeah, what character would boost the Dragonfly? I think Airborne would boost the Dragonfly. I think Doc, because people seem to want to have Doc with the stretch and all that kind of stuff. There are loads, actually. Any figure would boost the Dragonfly right now. But again, it's moving there, and I think we'll get to 13K either today or tomorrow, and we'll see probably an unlock at some point soon. Yeah. Bill's got his Torpedo 2 days ago and loves him. Now we need his best mate Leatherneck, although that would be Wetsuit and Leatherneck, wouldn't it, Steve? But yeah, I do want both of those 100%. Wetsuit and Leatherneck 100%. Does Torpedo add pineapple to his pizza for being Hawaiian? Yes, I love pineapple on pizza. I was a huge fan of the Hawaiian. I would always flashback to before I was dairy free, but I would often I would go to a mate's house to watch the Royal Rumble. Shout out to Nick and Mass Wells. We would get together and watch the Royal Rumble, and we would have a bet on who we would pick out of a hat, like a name, and obviously if our name won, then we got the pot that we put into. That was our fun little game for the Royal Rumble. We'd all get together, we'd watch it. It was a laugh, had a lot of fun. We'd always order pizza. I'd always order the most ridiculously biggest one they had. At the time, the last time we did it, I think it was the Domino's one where they were running that crazy hot dog crust where there were little hot dogs on the outside of the crust. Do you remember that? And I ate a whole large one of those, and it was a Hawaiian as well. Destroyed it. And everyone was in awe. Like, it was like, how everyone has like leftovers when they get pizza. Not me. Just got the whole one. I haven't got the classic bazooka yet, Philly, but no, I am dairy free. Yeah, I don't eat meat either. Dairy free, and I don't eat meat. I would say vegan, but I have honey, so I'm not vegan. Okay, I have honey, and I have. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, dairy free and meat free is what I am. It's just, the the environment that I live in, and that's my preference. That's all it is. Not telling anyone to do it, not telling anyone to change. That is just what I do. Yeah, pineapple and ham. It's Hawaiian. I don't know, Jeffrey. I think it's pretty cool to get everything together with the base kind of thing, because then it frees up the tiers to be more interesting, I would say. Having everything at once is kind of like, this is everything you can do with it. And it's like, that's actually pretty cool. Like, I don't think the Hiss tank should have done that, because it made sense with what was going on it to kind of like, separate it out and everything. But I definitely think for the Dragonfly, they're probably just, well, let's just give everything in the base. And then if it only gets to tier 1, or if it only doesn't get to a tier and it just unlocks, then you're getting so much still for a $274.99. That's probably what they're thinking on that one. Hot dog pizza crust was crazy, wasn't it? Oh, it was nuts. I also had was the one where it was, yeah, there was burgers. I had the burgers one as well, little burgers on the crust. Like, you'd think it would just be a stuffed crust with one long bit of burger meat in it, wouldn't you? Same with hot dogs. No, they were little burgers and little hot dogs. They're like 3 to each slice that were on the crust. Like, it was so odd, and I had to have it and try it. There could be digital renders today, Super Soundbite. We don't know, but obviously there will be something on Wednesday. But we don't know if there are going to be any digital renders revealed or any reveals today. We just don't know, but it's likely there could be. We could break the tier today and get Ripcord and therefore unlock the next tier, and they could show that off. There could be all sorts of different things. They're probably having to kind of like think about it with the HasLab as it's going as well. But yeah, let's hope there's something today and keep looking at the socials. Right then, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for all the comments. Thank you for all of your wonderful input and for joining me today to unlock this beauty. Quick summary: Torpedo is phenomenal. Best figure so far, in my opinion, in the wave that we've just had. That I so far have opened Rock and Roll, Shipwreck, and Copperhead. Love them all. I think they're great. But Torpedo is just awesome. I will see if I can get those flippers on the backpack through the holes with the pipes. But at the moment, it's proving a little tricky. So I will try and do that. If I can get it done, I'll take a picture and I'll show you online. But yeah, very excited for this figure, and I will see you guys on the next one. We've got loads of content coming for you. I've got the interview with Brian Flynn that I did on Friday. Just have to get a few things kind of tied up, and I've got to edit it in full still. So maybe a couple of days on that one, but it'll be out as soon as I can get it done. Obviously, there's going to be more news this week, no doubt. Obviously, there will be. So we'll be doing news bursts. I'll be speaking to Justin Bell in a couple of weeks soon about the whole Rise of the Beasts kind of scenario. Very excited to chat there. And I'm going to reach out to Mark Seddon of Talking Joe. I know he's not watching at the moment, but I want to reach out to him and talk about the Image Skybound news. That is also something I want to talk about. So yeah, there's going to be lots of content, lots of interesting stuff. And also we've got an Emily and Lenny. Well, we're lining up the Emily and Lenny interview at the end of the month so that we've got all the things they reveal to talk about and delve into and discuss. So rather than do it like now or, multiples, we'll just do a nice big juicy one at the end of the month. Okay, guys? Cool. A few more questions before I leave. Chris, you think eels will come with secondary heads or masks that come off like Torpedo? I don't know. It will probably just be a head sculpt, I'd imagine, for them, or it could just be like a whole helmet that comes off and you've got a balaclava. Those are the two options, I think. But I would imagine, I don't know. I would imagine it would be a sculpted helmet, is what I would think, Matt. A sculpted head sculpt as a helmet. Thank you, Philly. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on in the chat. Really appreciate it. Big and juicy indeed. Smash the like button and join the Patreon for secret info, says Matt. Absolutely. You're doing all my job for me. Like I said, loads more to come, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you, guys. And, of course, stay fresh cheese bags. And after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. See you later. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.